Hi, I'm Morteza Nokodi, and CTO of Flatlay, and DropLinked is our decentralized e-commerce solution. And here I'm going to present you our community solution, which is an NFT fractionalizer. Our main proposition at DropLinked starts with decentralized registration of products. We associate real products with Web3 tokens in a way that every token represents a real-life product. Selling and purchasing of these tokens will represent selling and purchasing real-life products. This unlocks many potential for brands, publisher, and value-add parties in a marketplace. Production volume of some products are 7 or 8 digits number, and minting an NFT for every product is very costly. That's why we make one NFT for a product type and fractionalize it to the produced volume of that product. And like that, in a very cost-effective way, we have a Web3 token that is the digital representative of every product item. The way fractionalizer works is simple. It can mint an NFT or acquire a minted NFT and convert it to desired amount of fraction tokens. These tokens are sellable and transferable. In case if someone owns the entire fractions of an NFT, they can give them back to the contract and get the original NFT back. There are many possible use cases for this, and simplest one that comes to mind is selling expensive NFT artworks partially. In case you are interested to know more, check the Fractionalizer page at fractionalizer.droplink.com. There you can find the basic contract, a simple UI to interact with contract and its code, documentation of the system, a comprehensive use case for real estate agency to auction houses partially for real estate investor, and of course the code of the system and the documentation of this system there can be found. And if you are interested or you want to know more, email me at morteza@theflatlay.com. Thank you for listening.
Hey there, stackers and future stackers. My name is Kevin. I'm the creator of ChifiBots, the first play and earn NFT trading card game debuting very soon on Stacks. It's a game about lovable robots in space trying to find their purpose, and the gameplay revolves around Pokemon the trading card game mixed in with rock, paper, scissors. Now, I wanted to make this video because I really wanted to shed my experience and hopefully some tips for you on the whole Stacks grants experience. So originally we actually didn't get our first application in. We had to lower our price, change our deliverable roadmaps, and our second application was approved. And one thing that it really should be said is that the questions and what they are after seem very practical to us. Like, I spent over a week with my team and we had to reassess everything. We had to write the applications and everything. We asked a lot of questions in the Discord, and we had chats with them in their own Discord office about what they were really into, what they were expecting from us, and then we had to redo our grant from that. But what I can say is once we got approved, it was like this breath of fresh air. There was like a light at the end of the tunnel. We had our goals set because our goals were set inside the actual application, so we knew what we had to get done. So now what we've been doing is we've actually used our grant money, our first kickoff price, to actually hire someone from the Stacks community, a Stacks developer, to help us integrate the Stacks wallet into our ChifiBots game, which is really exciting. So we're starting that process pretty much now, and I've been working on the whole unboxing experience, and you can actually see an example here. There's a little animation. That's a day one starter pack being opened, and there are the cards. It's a bit different to your PFP collection because this is more of a collectible trading card game, so there's multiple NFTs that you can actually use in the game. And you, instead of just buying one, you can actually buy a pack at the start, and then you can obviously buy, sell, trade on the marketplace, which we're currently building. Don't give up on your first try. If it doesn't get approved, make sure you ask the team, ask around on the Discords and the Twitter to why it didn't get approved. Read the notes, adapt, adjust, and reapply. If you truly believe that your project is amazing and it's on Stacks, you should definitely give it a go. That's all I wanted to say today, and thank you so much. I'll chat you all later.
Hi everybody, my name is Joshua. Many of you probably know me as Obsidian.btc, and I'm a co-founder of Byzantion. And today I want to present the Alexandria Indexer, which we have partnered with the Stacks Foundation to bring to you all. At the end of the day, what an indexer does is it converts raw transaction data into a queryable and opinionated format that makes it much easier to build UIs and Web3 applications on top of. So many of you have probably run into a problem use case where you're trying to get the state of some map inside of a smart contract at any given time, and it's quite difficult to do. Or you don't want just the balance sheet view of the blockchain where it gives you where assets are at any given time or what the transaction was, but you actually want to do complex queries, like show me all the world visors that are listed on top of Byzantion versus Gamma and at what prices. And I just want to see ones that are listed for less than 2,500 stacks. It's a very difficult thing to do directly against a node, but that's what the Alexandria Indexer allows you to do, and it also gives you a framework to build any type of indexer for any smart contract on top of the chain. We hope that this helps streamline the developer experience for new devs coming into the Stacks ecosystem by giving them some training wheels and a proven kind of battle-tested framework to build on top of. And then we hope that you will also get involved. You can right now just jump into the Byzantion Discord, shoot us a message, and we'll be sending updates there as we start to roll out against our current milestones. But we really appreciate it. We're very thankful to the foundation and Jasper and Will and everybody that we've been working with there, including Thomas. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys find this helpful as it releases.
Everyone, my name is Mike Bender, Head of Partnerships for Flatlay. Flatlay is a mobile-first app whose mission is to be the on-ramp to crypto, NFTs, and Web3 for the millions of consumers sitting on the sidelines too afraid or confused to jump in. We do this through a combination of edutainment, gamification, and real rewards in the form of sats to drive users to learn, discover, and supercharge adoption. While I go through more details on Flatlay and our grant, what I'd like to do is share my screen so you all can see some of our progress as we go through this. We've had the pleasure of working with Vanessa and Jasper on the Stacks grants team, and we're able to secure a grant to create content aimed at educating our audience as to the benefits of Stacks. In our view, this was a no-brainer because of our belief in Bitcoin and our view that most uninformed or new consumers associate crypto with Bitcoin. This grant allowed us to continue on our mission to educate and empower consumers while building awareness for Stacks and the Stacks ecosystem. This example that we're showing you is really about the learn and earn, which are quick ways in which users can learn concepts and get rewarded with Bitcoin. The second example is an interactive video we created, which is the basis for one of the lesson modules about Stacks.
What is Stacks? Stacks is a cryptocurrency which utilizes the power of Bitcoin to enable the use of decentralized apps and smart contracts used in decentralized finance, NFTs, and Web3. Stacks democratizes access to blockchains since miners don't need expensive mining equipment. They only need the Bitcoin they've purchased.
It's over 2 minutes long, so I'm going to cut it short. But if you'd like more info on Flatlay, please download the iOS app. Please connect with us on Discord at Flatlay app or with me directly at Bender76. Thanks again for the opportunity to participate in this community showcase.
Everybody, Giada here from the Whitelabel team to give our July update. As a reminder, the end goal for our residency is to increase Clarity education and to bring more Clarity developers into the ecosystem. Some of the things that we've accomplished since our last call, we delivered a 4-day Clarity workshop / hackathon to the Stacks pre-accelerator team. So that was actually really awesome to get to work with these founders going through the pre-accelerator and teach them Clarity. We have started Clarity Camp cohort number 3. That started on July 11th, and we sent invitations to 200 participants that have been on the Clarity Camp waitlist. We have also started creating content for YouTube and Twitter. This will be a combination of promotional content to get the word out about Clarity Camps, as well as technical content to give deeper looks into the Clarity concepts and language and how you write with it. And we have started updating the Code Academy material. We're adding quite a bit of material to the current curriculum, and as well as examples, and really going in depth into each topic. So that's exciting. We are also pleased to introduce our third Clarity Camp instructor, Daniel. He is also a developer on the Whitelabel team. He is based in Austin, Texas, and so he will be delivering an Austin-based Clarity Camp in partnership with the Austin Stacks chapter starting early August, and we are all very excited about that. If you want to follow our progress, follow the @ClarityLang Twitter handle. This is where we will be putting up a lot of our content. So we're working with the Stacks social and comms teams to get information and updates on Clarity Camps, as well as what students are building and working on. And that will all be on the ClarityLang Twitter handle.
Hi guys, my name is Robin and I represent the Toggle team. We at Toggle are currently developing the Gaia storage system, and we try to take it to the next level. That basically means we will add additional driver support, that we will increase usability, and add a variety of new features such as a permission-driven file system. So yeah, what have we accomplished so far? The Gaia white paper has been officially released in its first version, more or less. You can find the link at the official Discord residency channel, where it is in the pinned messages. Also, the entire project has been updated, every package has been updated, and also I'm very happy to say that the GitHub CI/CD pipeline has also been fixed. Special thanks to Alejandro for helping us in that regard. Also, Gaia now supports TOML as a file format for the configuration. Also, the JSON still works, so it's still backwards compatible, so don't worry, you will break nothing if you update. So what are we working on now is the IPFS driver, which will probably be released by the start of August or mid of August latest, and also the improvement of the usability and the setup process on Gaia. Right now we are working on a dashboard that will later on be hosted on GitHub pages, where you or any other user can just simply put together configuration using a graphical interface, so no one has to bother writing actual lines of code or writing an actual TOML file. Yeah, so if you guys want to reach out to us, here are our quick socials. We are available on Twitter, Discord, email, and also on the official Discord channel, Discord server. So thanks for listening and see you soon. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, this is Haz. I'm a developer, and me and Harold, a researcher, work in the Stacks Governance Labs to bring the indigenous modes of governance to Stacks, organizing bottom-up systems in the Stacks community through the Advocates Program and other community initiatives. One other area of focus that we've been working on is journeys. Journeys is where community needs are surfaced and community feedback is given from advocates to other advocates. and by extension, in the future can be like the whole community through the grant program. One of the ways that Stacks contributors can be compensated is bounties, and Dwork might be the best place to post and apply for bounties. We've been working on creating a template on Dwork that advocates and other community members can access to start contributing to Stacks. So finally, to connect with us, be sure to check out the Start Here channel in the Stacks server and pick up the DAO and moderation role. And you'll find us in the open discussion channel under Advox DAO category. Thank you.
Hello again, everybody. This is Mike here from the Clarity Lab, working with Marvin on the Clarity Innovation Lab residency. I'd like to present an update on the main project that Marvin and I are working on. This is the Ecosystem DAO. Our launch plan is starting to take shape. We've been having conversations with with people across the community, and we're planning on rolling out the DAO in 3 phases. The first phase will be deploying just a minimal set of contracts that the core team can then actually do useful stuff with the DAO. We'd use that to enable snapshot voting, which would be a proposal that the whole community can vote on. Anybody with stacks in their wallet at the time the proposal was submitted will be able to have a say, and this will actually activate phase 3 of the DAO. And so we'll basically run a vote to decide how people want to continue to use the DAO. And the main question there would be whether or not to switch to a governance token for voting. An exciting team is self-organising in the Clarity Lab Discord channel. Swing by if you want to get involved. We're looking to launch the project in time for to be able to vote on activation of 2.1 upgrade, but may well be out sooner than that. Our technology stack is based on SvelteKit. We're using microstacks and talking to the guys at Fungible Systems, hoping to help improve their documentation. Our Clarity layer is full of innovations and experimentation. It's well worth having a look if you're interested. The Ecosystem DAO is based on Marvin's Executive DAO. Is extremely flexible and versatile. We're working on a new proposal submission process for tackling the problem of proposal spanning, for example. And one idea is that Marvin had is that we could issue a levy for submitting proposals, but then crowdfund the payment for that levy across the community. So it's quite an interesting idea coming forward. Nobody is in charge, quite literally. After speaking to people across the community and thinking about the legal and regulatory problems of DAOs in general, we're going to go with a fully decentralized DAO launch. And this is actually possible because phase 2 can, through the DAO's own mechanisms, it can deactivate the privileged role of the executive team as the DAO moves forward. This is your DAO, and it's a great time to get involved in the project. If only to learn more about what we're doing, you're very welcome. Come by and talk to us in Discord. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Hello, my name is Puji. I'm from Stacks Chapter Indonesia, so I'm the chapter lead. So Stacks Indonesia is a chapter who focus more on the Web3 educations as well as onboarding developers to the Stack ecosystem. We in Indonesia have growing talent. We have we have about like 1 million of developers, and it's growing every month and every year. And we want to tap in this market as well. So in here, I want to give you a couple of updates from our chapter. So first of all, we have a growing traction in our community. So we have a growing list of Twitter followers, Telegram group, Meetup members, growing list of content as well, from blog posts, YouTube posts, Instagram, and many more. And for the past 4 weeks or about like this month, we launch about 3 new episodes for Teman Stacks or Friend of Stacks. We update a lot of things about Stacks, Bitcoin, and Web3 in general. And for this month, we also achieved a couple of interesting things, from designing the Bitcoin Bali concept for the next year. And we also launched 3 new episodes for our podcast, as well as planning for upcoming meetup, as well as bootcamp execution that we are currently running. And in the next 2 to 3 months, we will have the Bitcoin Bali steering community, as well as organizing community forum. And then we also want to run our podcast for the next season, next month, as well as we want to complete the bootcamp execution, and we'll be launching our special course material in public as an open source document. Thank you. And if you want to learn more about our chapter, feel free to open t.me/Stacks Indonesia, where you can get a lot of information about Stacks Indonesia. Or you can also open our website, stacksnesia.id, and you will get a lot of information about our progress. Thank you.
Hi friends, this is Virginia Creasy, and I'm giving an update on the Austin Stack chapter for July. We are really focused in the next few months on education and getting more people to come into the Stacks ecosystem, specifically developers. So we are starting with an Austin Clarity Camp beginning August 8th, going through September 9th. And this is a partnership with Whitelabel to offer a free 5-week course for developers to learn Clarity. We'll be doing daily remote classes Monday through Friday, as well as a few in-person sessions, but really wanting to make sure that it's available to anyone who wants to join. We are also focused on building our chapter leadership. So last week we had a special meetup for our chapter members to begin to take on a variety of leadership roles. And we will continue to work on that and diversify the kinds of roles that we're offering for people. We're also changing our biweekly meetups to include an educational component once a month. So every other meetup, we will have a variety of different educational topics that we will be offering, and hopefully bringing more people into the community in that way. We would love to help you, have you help us keep Austin weird. So feel free to join us at our next meetup on July 28th, or follow us on Twitter at KeepSTXWeird. Thanks.
G'day, I'm Kieran from the Stacks Australian community. To join all the stuff we're doing at stacksaustralia.github.io. We've got a Discord on there, so definitely jump in and have a squiz. We've got Bitcoin Australia meetups that we're doing monthly. If you go to the schoolofbitcoin.com/Bitcoin Australia, these are also on the Stacks website. And we talk about all things Bitcoin and Stacks in there. The last meetup we had, the last two have been a tribrid model, meaning you can join in virtual reality as well. So if you want to jump onto this website or onto the stacks.github.io website, you can join in multiple ways, including VR. And the last meetup we had was really successful. So we had a bunch of people from Australia, and Michael from Decentralize Everything invited Gabriel from a place called Tanzania, where he's upskilling people on cryptocurrencies and Stacks. So we taught him about Stacks and Bitcoin and that sort of thing. So really cool to see that. We've got a physical space, Digital Playhouse Victoria now. So we've got one in Melbourne, one up in Queensland. And yeah, so that we'll be doing the Stacks meetups from this space as well. We're also part of the SENVIC, which is Social Enterprises Network Victoria, which is really exciting. So there's more of that on the website. And again, yeah, join stacksaustralia.github.io and our Discord. And yeah, hope to see you there.
Then I'd say let's first start with Dan from Boom. First of all, thanks for joining. I know you didn't get a chance to submit an update video for this round, so if there's anything you'd like to share with us about Boom, then feel free to do so.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Apologies for not getting a video in on time. Dan from Boom. I work on boom boxes, protocols, tools, smart contracts, and this last month I've been working on the Boom mobile wallet, as well as Note Riot note-taking application coming up for August. I will be, we're working with, we have ongoing community artist collaborations for the next Boombox, which should be really cool. Also, pretty soon we're going to be introducing a couple of different types of boomboxes. So look for some explainer videos and some ways to use boomboxes for different use cases. So, for instance, boomboxes currently are kind of single single cycle focused. If that's the type of thing you want to do, obviously that technology is there. But if you have a boombox that you want to do for your company and you want it ongoing, or you're a creator and you want different levels of connections with different types of boomboxes, we'll be introducing a service type of boombox. And then also we're working on, thanks to some help from Frieger, working on some collaborations around launching a creator boombox with multiple partners.
Awesome. Could we get a teaser on what artist will be collaborating with Boombox, or?
I will pop some teasers into Twitter soon. But community
Awesome.
artists, we want to focus on Stack, so look for something cool.
Then I would invite everyone to go to the Boom NFT or Twitter account rather. Right, awesome. Let's get to Friedger. Now, I heard that your NFT profiles may soon be integrated with the Hero wallet, which is incredibly exciting. What's your status on that?
Yeah, so to be more precise, it's about the public profile going to Hero. So there was a discussion with the Hero team whether it's possible, whether we want to do it. And so there's an initial design, and I studied the code. So at the moment, there's nothing you can already see, but it's progressing. So public profile is the profile that is owned by the Stacks account, while and only the wallet can change it. And the idea is that any application can send a change request to the profile, and the user has to authenticate that or authorize that. So that's what we had in Blockstack, in the Blockstack browser. So we try to bring that back.
That's awesome. Very exciting indeed. Anything else you've been working on that you find very exciting?
The other thing is verifiable credentials. So the goal is to add a proof that some statement was issued by someone, like my Stacks account is associated with this Twitter handle, and someone can put a stamp on it, and you get the verifiable credentials, and you can put this credential into your profile so others can see that. And they can then associate your Twitter handle with your Stacks account if they trust the person that stamped the statement.
Awesome. Still incredible to see how after all these many years you're still able to provide so much cool innovation to the Stacks ecosystem as well as community.
Well, Web3 is going on.
Fair enough.
Can I add, Frieger? I think you mentioned that the work that you're doing will be able to be added to any app. Is that correct? So it's not just the Hero wallet that's going to benefit from this. It's going to be Boom. It's going to be Xverse.
Yeah.
It's going to be
so it's a universal profile that everyone can use, and that also everyone can update if they want to. But then it will be updated for all applications.
Cool. Well, thank you for answering that question. I'd say without further ado, let's get on to Ali from Flatlay. Thank you very much for joining us, as well as delivering the amazing updates and achievements. Quick question on the things you presented. The first use case of fractionalized NFTs have all primarily been focused on fractionalized art, as you've said. You talked about the many use cases possible for fractionalized NFTs in relation to real world items. with Flatlay. Are there any real world use cases you see that are already in progress or that you are primarily excited about? Could you tell us about these?
Yeah, in particular, one way that we're basically leveraging the NFT fractionalization is with a number of our partners that are using it for supply chain management and inventory count. So we're seeing that they're able to take like production runs and actually put all of their inventory on chain. And they're doing it based on taking one product SKU and then fractionalizing that based on the inventory count. And it's adding like a lot of value and transparency to other dApps and partners that we're now beginning to deploy that with. The first use cases have been very much so focused around digital NFTs and the art itself, and some of the partnerships that we're doing within the Stacks ecosystem with HeyLayer and with Gamma is not only helping and empowering creators and artists and communities to like launch merch shops, but it's also about like fractional ownership of these high value assets. In one case, it could be a blue chip NFT. In another case, it could be the deed to a home or a title to a car. But the reality is that, our first initial use cases that we focused on have been very commerce related. And we feel that is going to add a lot of value to not only the Stacks ecosystem, but to any other dApps and, platforms being built within the Stacks ecosystem, which is exciting. So, from our perspective, we're seeing this as kind of a stepping stone into creating something much more scalable within the circular economy overall.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So, and to people that aren't really familiar with fractionalized NFTs, it's very beneficial to NFT creators, I would say. But what are the benefits for consumers, for investors, now that fractionalized NFTs become more popular?
That's a great question. So with that being said, so think about NFT fractionalization as being almost as a stamp of authenticity in a way, right? So if I know that I'm either purchasing an item, one of 200 or one of one, the NFT obviously is providing that kind of proof of ownership in this respect. And we're able to incorporate a lot of details with these NFTs that are all IPFS hashed and detailed. So that can all be recorded on chain and revisited at any certain point in time. Huge benefit for not only the consumers with having this sense of, validation as to purchasing or acquiring something from a validated merchant, but on the other side, that merchant or producer that is now distributing this item with the fractionalization of the NFT. What's really neat is that now they have visibility and a way to better empower them to create these types of things like content loyalty programs, future drops, incentives, co-collaborations, so many things that provide insight and perspective to who their end consumer is. So that's one implication. On the other side, with investors, it is something that's been really interesting. If somebody is basically investing into a high value asset that they want to fractionalize ownership between a group of people or a group of constituents, with this NFT fractionalizer and the library that we've built, it allows you to actually break up an asset. It could be upon mint or it could be post mint. So an asset that already exists that you could refractionalize, distribute, and then if somebody wants to go back out and reacquire those fractional assets, they can then recompile and then claim ownership of the original NFT. So that's something that didn't exist until we took a look at what exists in the Stacks ecosystem and how that would add value and benefit and innovation to how you interact with NFTs at scale.
Right, thank you. That's incredibly exciting. I'd love to ask more, but I have to be mindful of our time during this community call.
We appreciate the time, and we're really excited for the work that we're doing. Much more to come. So
awesome. And if anybody wants to know more, feel free to reach out to the guys at Flatlay.
Yeah,
so,
please do.
Thank
Reach us
you
on Twitter. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. So thank you all for answering these questions. I think we're going to politely move you all off the screen. and bring on the Clarity residents with Marvin from Clarity Innovation, as well as Akanksha from the Whitelabel. Cool. Let's start with Akanksha. Thank you very much for delivering an update on from the Whitelabel team. It's amazing to see that there are so many new developers being onboarded via the Clarity Camp, the new Clarity cohort. Now, you've gone through the initial days and weeks of the Clarity education with new students. How do these new Clarity developers find, do they find it very difficult at first? And what's your opinion on the entry level for Clarity?
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having me here. So that's a great question there. Now the camps have been very varying in participants. So to be very honest, the level of difficulty also varies depending on different factors and depending on what background they're coming in. As you mentioned, that there is definitely a category for entry level, but I do feel there is a category of people who are coming in with some sort of coding background. They tend to pick up the language pretty easily. So any coding background, or they have an understanding of a Web3 ecosystem, and they're probably transitioning from another chain to our ecosystem. So for them, it's easy to comprehend and get up to speed with the language. That is what my personal opinion is. And coming to entry level, there's an extra learning curve for them. So we are trying to, with every camp that we lead, we are trying to identify any feedback that we can get to improve that program. And as a part of the milestone, as we discussed, is to update the content and the interaction with the students in the camp. So on that front, we are updating content in such a way that we are introducing them to a lot of Web3 basic stuff. And we are trying to bring them up to speed rather quickly. And yeah, that is so for entry level, I do believe that it's more of a difficult level, in a let's say a medium difficulty level for someone who is new to coding and who is someone new to Web3.
Awesome. And for people that want to learn more about Clarity, where should they go according to you?
I think that if they want to learn, they should. There are definitely two platforms that we recommend. One is that they go through the Clarity Camp, and then obviously start discussing or putting out themselves in Discord as well, that they're available to learn, they're available to work in our ecosystem.
Awesome.
And then one more item, that would be our Clarity Lang Twitter handle. So we are trying to bring more traffic there as well, putting out more content so that Clarity Lang can be more visible.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. I'd say let's go to Marvin from the Clarity Innovation Lab. First of all, thank you for sending in your updates and achievements. The new DAO is very exciting. You talked about how the core team can do useful stuff with the DAO, snapshot voting. Everyone can vote, have a say in what's happening. For the audience maybe not familiar with either DAOs in general or how and even why they should participate, could you give some examples of use cases how the DAO can be of benefit to Stacks holders in general?
Sure. And first I have to thank Mike for making the video and the slides and giving us nice updates. He's been doing a lot of the writing, so I'm very grateful to him as well. So yeah, for those who are not super familiar with DAOs, I think everyone here will have heard of it before, but if you want to have a very brief introduction, you can kind of imagine taking a conventional company and putting it on a blockchain and then encoding the company's constitution in a series of smart contracts. So you basically make everything transparent, it's very clear to see who the members are. You might not always know who they are, but you can see there's, say, 10 addresses that hold a number of governance tokens, which you can equate to stock. These people can vote. This DAO might have a treasury of tokens that it can deploy based on these votes. So that's kind of how you can equate it. So yeah, as Mike earlier showed in the video, we're working on a DAO called the Ecosystem DAO, with the idea that this is going to be a DAO for the entire ecosystem, as the name implies. And something that we've been looking at, which is not new to us, this has existed in different ecosystems, is something called snapshot voting, which is an alternative to the current voting process that exists in exactly the DAO for the people that have seen it. So the current system is you have a governance token that you lock up when you vote. With snapshot voting, that's not the case. It basically looks at your balance at a particular block height, so that is the snapshot component of it, and that is the voting power you have for a specific proposal. So that means that it's a way to prevent people from deploying their voting power twice for the same proposal. So it's another solution to that. But what makes the ecosystem DAO a little interesting is that the current extensions that we have written for this use just the stacks balance. So that means, which I quite like on a philosophical level as well, is that everybody who owns stacks is automatically a member of the ecosystem DAO. So you don't need to exchange that for governance token in order to be able to vote in this DAO. And we're looking at a few different ways in which people can be part of this DAO and submit the proposals and whatnot. So we think that's very cool. So then the question is, of course, like, okay, well, then concrete, what can you use this DAO for? The idea behind the DAO is for it to be very flexible. So we kind of want the community to decide which direction the DAO goes to. But I just already saw this in the chat. Hero Gamer dropped kind of what one of the first functionalities of the DAO is going to be, is to possibly vote on SIP standards. So that everyone can see on chain what's happening with that, and later on, hopefully we can roll that out to different aspects of the ecosystem as well. So you can imagine that maybe the ecosystem DAO could take over what the grant system is doing right now at the Stacks Foundation. So instead of using like a centralized application and whatnot, it could just be a special application for that, a website. People can vote on the proposals that they like, and then the DAO will fund these proposals. So lots of exciting stuff happening there, but we're still in early stage, so the launch plan is still being figured out. If you're interested in these things, yeah, we're definitely looking for more input, and Mike has been collecting a lot of information.
And if people want to reach out, where should they go to?
Right. So to reiterate what Mike showed on the presentation. So if you want to find the Clarity Lab, very easy. Go to the Stacks Discord, stacks.chat, and then under the Teams section, I believe there's a channel called Clarity Lab. So that's where it is. So you just go on Discord, you hit Control-K, I believe, and then you just type Clarity, and it should show up in the search results. Or you just follow Hero Gamer, and he will point you in the right direction, as always.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that clear explanation of how DAOs work and how people can join the fun. Right. Thank you both for answering these questions.
Thank you.
I guess we'll now move on to the Stacks community and tools, with bringing Puji from the Indonesian chapter, as well as Virginia from the Austin chapter, I think she's here as well, and Gordon from the Australian chapter. I think Gordon's there, Virginia as well. Do we have Puji? I don't think. Let me check quickly. I don't think we have him. Right, then we're going to start with Virginia from the Austin chapter. Thank you very much for sending in the updates as well as the achievements of the Austin chapter. You talked about the Austin Clarity Camp, a free 5-week course to learn more about Clarity, which is amazing. How do you intend to activate the Austin devs, people interested surrounding Austin and in Austin City, how to make people aware of these great initiatives that you guys have been setting up?
Yeah, so we've been doing a fair amount of kind of word of mouth through our chapter, but also, of course, online and places like that. One focus that we really have is like the interconnectivity between the people who are going to be going through the camp, as well as like our greater chapter and the greater community. So making sure that people are kind of fully, both in the initial part of hearing about it, but then after they're going through the camp and then post camp, making sure that they're building those relationships in order to do projects and other cool things. So making sure that that kind of pipeline is well integrated.
Awesome. Anything else to be very excited about with the Austin chapter?
Yeah, so we've got some other plans kind of in the works that aren't as finalized yet. One is an NFT workshop that hopefully will happen either later this year or potentially at the beginning of next year. And this will be for both kind of like have 2 tracks. So one would be for artists, kind of like anyone who's interested, who wants to, maybe they've never done any sort of NFT project. And so we want to make sure that they're kind of getting that welcome from the Stacks community. And then also people who are not artists, right, who are interested in using NFTs as event tickets or like these other kind of very functional use cases for NFTs. So kind of making sure that we're speaking to both kind of crowds and bringing them together. And then hopefully, I think we might do kind of like a hackathon style sort of NFT project after that NFT workshop. And speaking of hackathons, we are actually doing a small hackathon after our Clarity Camp. It'll just be for our students, but I'm really looking forward to doing that the weekend following the end of camp.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's very exciting indeed. Moving on to the Stacks Australia chapter. Both the other chapters, the Austin chapter as well as the Indonesian chapter, both focused on getting more devs to the Stacks ecosystem. What's your strategy on achieving this in Australia? Any exciting plans for Clarity Camps or dev meetups?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so we're really starting at ground zero. So it's been that we haven't been able to find any Clarity developers in our communities in Australia so far. So yeah, I've been building out a Discord, finding all the tools. Was really stoked the other day to find the multi sig wallet. That was really exciting for our community. We're quite keen to get in and build and work on building DAOs. So we're just putting all the tools together so far, and at our next meetup, thanks to Marvin, he's going to actually join us and have a chat to some, a bunch of people that are really interested in Stacks. So it's quite interesting that our Algorand community, we've got some interest from our Algorand community down here because of the association of Silvio Macali and Mani building and the communities working together to build Clarity. And so they're quite advanced in Australia. And we've got a bunch of ETH engineers that are quite curious about what we're doing and the differences between Solidity and Clarity. So yeah, we're very early days. So we'll start with our meetup next Thursday night. Marvin will be on there. We're going to promote that out through Australia. And then we've got a goal to work towards in time, having our first Clarity Camp and an NFT building event. So yeah, we've got a long way to go, but we're absolutely started. Super excited. Love
Awesome.
the community. You guys create some amazing YouTubes, like in terms of the way that everyone presents. It's very clear. It's a really passionate community. We're really enjoying being here.
Appreciate that, and looking forward to everything that is happening with the Australian chapter. Just a quick one. You briefly talked about during the video about the Bitcoin Australia event, which is a monthly event, if I'm not mistaken, by the Australian chapter. Could you expand on what you guys will discuss during these events?
Yeah, so the event on Thursday night, well, first of all, because we get a lot of obviously we're going to get a lot of newcomers to Stack. So in the first brief, it's just very much about who's onboarding, what they're doing, to really, how to get in and navigate their way around our Stacks community. Have they got a Hero wallet? Have they got a Verse wallet? Are they stacking? That's sort of our first goal. And then getting them excited about, why are you here? Are you planning to build? If you are, then let's get you started. And so that's really just our going to be our focus, to newcomers, get them onboarded and get in straight into building. Like, we're not here to just, no one's here to play with cryptocurrency just for the sake of making a bit of coin. This is about us, just anyone that wants to build, we're here to build. So yeah, that's going to be our focus.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Very excited. Right,
Thanks.
I forgot to mention Harold from Governance Lab when I was introducing everyone, but thank you for coming up to the stage, and thank you for already providing an update as well as the achievements from the Governance Lab. You briefly mentioned in the project called Journeys, it's the project where community needs are being surfaced on the community feedback, all the community feedback is given. After that, you started a sentence that in the future, the whole community should be able to use this, but then I think the video quickly cut off. So I'm still very curious about Journeys. Could you talk a bit more about the project and how you intend to realize a system where all the community feedback will be given via the initiative?
Yeah. Shout out to Haas for making sure got done and taking you guys a little bit into what was the ecosystem journeys in that video. And yeah, it's something we're really excited for, not unlike the beautiful work from the ecosystem DAO and Marvin and Mike. It's another angle, right? In addition to the ways folks can have accessibility, right, to community grants, right? That we can cover any gaps, right? Maybe a more technical focused GitHub environment or atmosphere. We can bring some distributed power, right, along with decentralized architecture to some of the models that we're thinking about with what we're calling journeys, or what could be a bottom-up approach to task creation or bounties. We also have more conventional looking bounty boards, right? This is what Haas kind of previewed in the D work piece. And so we're thinking of integrating this closely into, what we're thinking about journeys as well. Something called Data Things, where fun come in newer folks to the ecosystem, where folks are already doing some work in the ecosystem somewhere, and show everything that they're doing, and be compensated through a community pool, have community evaluate what's going on. And so we figured that folks catch a rhythm in those that make right there, folks that could use the support to get together an application in terms of a grant in the ecosystem, which can be easier said than done, as mentioned earlier by some of the residents in this session. So to have all of that in place, along with built-in design for ensuring folks have support for communicating what's going on in their particular grant process, what their projects are trying to achieve, communicating this to the broader ecosystem, to folks at the foundation, so that there's clarity, a little bit more, right? We've kind of experienced this in the GovLab itself, right? So refining that ourselves will, I think, lend itself to be able to help folks refine it as they come into the program. But there's a lot of interesting things that Haas also didn't mention, right? Smart contracts and what he calls micro DAOs that happen all right in the Discord server that allows for decision-making or voting mechanisms within each respective project. So this is where the distributed power really starts to come in. So yeah, you can find us in Discord if you guys are interested in what's the goings on there.
Awesome. I was going to say that. How can people get involved? Is just going to the Discord and come say hi?
There's a whole row, column of channels for the Stacks advocates that folks can find their way through. There's a vouch system and a join request system that folks will see as soon as they opt into the role. So yeah, excited to see you guys there. And thank you kindly, Hero, as always.
Awesome. All right, that was the last question. I think it's also the hour, so I guess that's it. Thank you for everyone showing up. It means a lot to see so many people getting involved to these community updates. Again, if you want to re-watch the video, you can do so by going to YouTube. It will be uploaded tomorrow, as well as that you can watch our Twitter account, the Stacks handle or the Stacks organizational handle, to get to know more about the updates, achievements from the chapters, residents, and grants. Also, feel free to follow Hero Gamer because he is giving amazing updates in the chat right now. Thank you for providing all the links. It helps a lot.
Thanks. Hero.
Right.
Thanks, everyone. Oh,
thanks, guys.
Oh, shameless plug, everybody. Our weekly SIP community call is tomorrow as well. That's every Friday at 11 Eastern. And we have these monthly community calls every month, hence the monthly. It's usually on the last Thursday of the month. So if you're excited to see the next batch of updates, mark your calendars for August 28th or 29th or something like that. But thanks, everyone, for joining.